Such a tinderbox there. For more on this, we bring in Fox News terror analyst Walid Phares. So, Walid, as we look at what's going on here between Saudi Arabia and Iran, no love lost between the two. The Saudis execute one of their top clerics. Is this something that dire consequences is just Arab and Middle Eastern bluster, or are the Iranians actually going to do something about it?
Well, first of all, this is a cycle. A few weeks ago, the Iranians executed Iraqi poets for issuing some poems against the Iranian regime, and now the Saudis are executing leaders who have been backing uprisings. Of course, once you get into the cycle of executing and beheading and killing, then it's going to only escalate, unfortunately, between the Iranian-led coalition that goes all the way to Iraq and Syria and Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Saudi-led coalition that spreads throughout the Muslim Sunni world. So it's only bad news in 2016, unfortunately.
It's almost like we're going back to the 700s or something.
Some would believe so, but maybe with weapons that were not there in the 7th century, I mean the 7th century AD. What is happening right now is the fact that we have not been decisive in ending ISIS. We have not been decisive in making sure that the Iranian deal works. All this indecision coming from Washington is unleashing energies against each other in the region. That's the real problem.
Well, you speak about ending the fight against ISIS. 7 months after the city of Ramadi fell, the Iraqi city fell to ISIS. The Iraqi military moved back in, and with the help of the most powerful air force in the world, and 7 months' time, they were able to raise their flag over the city of Ramadi. Does this say good things about the fight against ISIS in the sense of the Iraqis finally now actually winning a battle, or does it say bad things because it took so long and the Iraqis seem to be so incompetent and disorganized?
So far, as historians, we would look at the fight between the Iraqis and other Arab Shia pro-Iranians, and on the other hand, ISIS, and we are fighting, on the side at this time of the Iraqis. It looks more like World War I. How many battles of the Somme have been won and lost? So far, the Battle of Ramadi, of course, is good against ISIS, but it depends who's going to seize it. If it's Shia militias going into the city, expect, my friend, reaction by the Sunnis, not just with ISIS, but with other militias. The architecture so far is not the right one, because we need to replace ISIS with Sunni moderates, not with Shia militias.
Does something akin to a Sunni moderate actually exist? I spent a lot of time in the Middle East. There's precious few of them, and it seems as though ISIS is equally willing to execute as many Sunni moderates as they are anybody else.
Yeah, when we speak about Sunni moderates, people think we're talking about the few tribes in Anbar and they will be killed the minute they rise. No, we're talking about the region Sunni. We're talking about Jordan. We're talking about Egypt. We're talking about Kuwait. We're talking about Tunisia. These countries which actually were successful in pushing back against Al-Qaeda and against the other Islamists are the ones we need to seek. And of course the UAE as well. But for now we have not done so, and therefore the cycle of violence continues.
But are you really going to get a situation in 2016 where Sunni moderates, Sunni armies of these other countries are going to be willing to fight against other Sunnis? That seems difficult to believe.
Actually, they are fighting, my friend. Saudi, UAE actually have bombed ISIS. They have been hit by ISIS and by Al-Qaeda, and also by the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. So these forces that we have not partnered with, actually they are fighting in Sinai. They are fighting in Libya. Where they're not fighting is against ISIS in Syria and Iraq, because we're stopping them. Why are we stopping them? Because of the Iranian deal, because Iran would find it unacceptable for Sunni moderates to move into those areas. Very complicated.
It is very complicated. One of the things that seems to have happened in 2015 is the borders there in the Middle East seem to matter less and less, especially the Syria and Iraq border. Effectively, it doesn't exist anymore. Is 2016 going to be the year that we begin to redraw the map of the Middle East, not necessarily based on British cartography in post-World War I, but more based on the religious lines that divided the Middle East since the 700s?
Unfortunately, some would tell you, yes, that's what we're seeing, at least with regard to the ethnic communities. Look at the Kurds. They are now in northeastern Iraq. There are Kurds in northeastern Syria. Their borders are connecting them to each other. Look at the Shia, look at the Sunni, look at the other minorities. They're all trying to establish their own ethnic borders instead of the international borders. We may see more of it in 2016, unfortunately.
See, Walid, here I thought you were going to be in Miami and bring us some good news for 2016.
I'll bring you sun.
Bring us sun and the suntan back. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you so much.